Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited to share all about my winter plans with you. Winter is the perfect season for cozy projects, so I've curated some sweaters, cardigans, colorwork, mittens, shawls, and home decor. Now I'll admit it's ambitious. There's no way that I'll just make all of them, but it's okay. We're all here to get cozy and get some inspiration for winter projects. I hope they spark some ideas for your own knitting, so let's dive into the details of each project. Let's start with the Isle sweater by Ozeda. It is a subtly raglan shaped, all over stockinette, rolled over turtleneck, tweedy, cozy sweater, and it's perfect for winter season. The pattern calls for a worsted weight yarn, and the sample uses Langar's Donegal Tweed Plus, which is 100% wool, 50 grams, 114 meters. The pattern calls for 17 stitches on 5.5mm needles, US 9, with a recommended ease of 25 centimeters, approximately 11 inches. I am very attracted to this sweater. I think I'll make this one very soon. If you are looking for a non-raglan version, she also has a drop shoulder version of this, and Petite Knit also has the Wednesday sweater, which is a drop shoulder version of this turtleneck, cozy, simple stockinette sweater. Cinnamon Twists by Kaori Katsurada. The design is published in the 23rd issue of Line, and it is a bottom-up sweater with raglan decreases, and the raglan details has some cables, and there are also cables on the sides of the sweater, like the seam lines. The pattern calls for 15 to 30 centimeters of positive ease, which corresponds to 6 to 12 inches. The recommended gauge is 28 stitches in twisted rib, which is the main texture of the sweater, and it looks so good. I love how it looks in twisted rib stitch. And the recommended needle size is 5.5 US 9. Speaking of cables, Fredagsgenser or Friday sweater is one of the cable sweaters that is on my list. The pattern is not new. It was released in 2020. It calls for an iron weight yarn, and the gauge is 16 stitches on 5mm needles, US 8. I really like the rollover turtleneck, but one thing I might change with the sweater is that I might add some cables, or one set of cable right here on the sleeves, because the sleeves are textured with a double moss stitch. It looks very good that way, but I might add a touch with a very simple cable right here down the sleeve. And I really like the placement of the cables with this design. Like, you have this panel in the front in double moss stitch, I guess, and with some large cables on both sides and some smaller ones and some slip knit stitches right in between those cables. Dagmar jacket by Petite Knit. I'm sure you've already seen this design a couple of times, if not many times, but I am in love with this jacket since it first came out in September 24. I really like the cable design of this jacket, and I would definitely go for toggle buttons for my project as well. Daydreamer cardigan by Veronica Lindberg was in my fall knitting plans, but I haven't gotten around to it yet, so it's now in my winter plans. I even have a swatch for it in half fisherman's rib. I'm planning to use Gazal Alpaca Air altogether with Gazal Kid Mohair on 5mm needles, US 8. I'm really attracted to this cardigan, especially because it's the perfect dupe for Cezanne's Emile cardigan, which I really like. I think I really need a mid-length kind of jacket-like cardigan in my wardrobe, so Mile Jacket by Ozeda is like the perfect fit for it. It's called a short jacket because it has that curved hem like a short does, and it's a very cozy and oversized shirt-like jacket, which I really, really like. And it has some really large pockets, which makes it even cozier. The Era sweater by November Knits. This is a 3x2 rib raglan sweater, which is a very basic staple, and I really need something like that in my wardrobe as well. The pattern calls for 2 lace weight yarns held together, and that stitch gauge is 26 on 4mm needles, US 6. If you're looking for a DK plus lace weight alternative of this design, Petite Knit has the hazel sweater with a very cozy turtleneck version and in drop shoulder construction. In 2024, I've been really drawn into colorwork, and this Viral colorwork by Susan Crawford is really a must for me. This is published in her book Echoes. I thought it was named after by the poet Gertrude Stein, because Susan Crawford has a sweater which was named after by Virginia Woolf, but no, this design is named after by Gertrude Jekyll, which is what she says a very important garden designer. The vest has some Fair Isle design on the front, but some stripe color work in the back, and I really like it. I'll definitely make one for myself this winter, I hope. Another black and white colorwork design which I'm very impressed by is the Hollywood sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I first saw this sweater and I wasn't very attracted to it, but after I saw it on a podcast episode on breathing yarn, oh, I was very impressed. I thought, this looks so gorgeous, because the main sample is knitted with a light gray and a black color. But breathing yarn used a black and white version of this. And I was like looking at the screen like this, and I was very impressed. And I thought, I have to make this. And I will make a halibut sweater, I hope, this winter. I am thinking of knitting the mitten version as well, to make something like a pair with the sweater and the mitten, but I'm not sure. I think the mittens are very cute, and I would really like to make. Perhaps I would make the mittens first, just to get around to the pattern and the design. The design is knitted with a decor weight yarn, and it calls for a 20 stitch gauge on 4mm needles, US 6. The last black and white colorwork sweater is a color yoke sweater by Anna Wenzel, Super Celine. I really like the mock neck version of this Celine sweaters, and I've seen on Toxnets she has been knitting the second version. She really likes the pattern, so I think I'll make a black and white version of this Super Celine, I hope, this winter. The sweater calls for a bulky weight yarn, iron plus lace, and the stitch gauge is 18 stitches, 22 rows on 5.5mm needles, US 9. Artemisia sweater by Emma Meyer. The first time I saw this on AK Nora Knits YouTube channel, I was like, I have to make this. And I have a black boucle yarn for it. Here it is. I haven't swatched for it yet. I don't know if I could meet the gauge with just a single strand of this boucle, because the pattern calls for a strand of boucle and a strand of mohair. And the gauge is 14 stitches on 5mm needles, US 8. It's a great sweater for everyday wear because it looks like a sweatshirt, and I really like the details with a non-boucle yarn on the neck, on the cuffs, and on the hem. I'm knitting the Inga sweater by Lynette nowadays, and the similar vibe with a similar color design is the normal sweater by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Because I really like the color combination with cream or beige tones, with blue and with red, I really like this normal sweater and I would really like to make one. The pattern calls for an iron white yarn because the sample is knitted with 3 strands of yarn held together. All of them are Isager, Tweeny, Tweed and Mohair. I've seen the sweater in some other color combinations like in blues and grays, but I really like the main sample of the sweater, which is in beige and red and blue. I think I'm gonna go with those colors because I really like them. I've never knitted anything in honeycomb brioche, so Petite Knits Honey Purse is kind of perfect start for it. The pattern calls for a sport weight yarn, lace and fingering together, and the gauge is 18 stitches on 3mm needles, US 2.5. I have never knitted a shawl. Andre Marie's Traveler shawl has gotten me since it first came out in December 23, and I really want to make one. She uses her own hand-spun yarns, but I am not a spinner, but I have some yarn that look like hand-spun. The gauge is 16 stitches on 4.5mm needles, US 7. Acanthus by Scandier Knits. These mittens are constructed as traditional Sabu mittens, and they feature a Latvian braid in the cuffs. They're so cute. There are 3 sizes for this design, and each design has a different needle size. Winter is a lot cozier when we bring some coziness into our homes as well. Waves Cushion by Beatrice Mays is a very attractive cushion cover for a very cozy winter time knit for our cozy homes. The design calls for a worsted weight yarn holding 2 strands of Istex Potolopi. The gauge is 14 stitches on 4.5mm needles, US 7. I just knitted my first pair of socks this year, and I'm really excited to knit more. And Petite Knits Sunday socks are the really cozy winter socks for a very cozy season. Because they're knitted with a worsted weight yarn in 2x2 rib, they are really cozy, like you're wearing them in the bed. I don't usually wear socks in my bed, but you know, you need to wear them in bed. Like when you're watching podcasts on your iPad, having some cozy time with your knitting. Like perfect cozy pair of socks. Dual Loop Beanie by Other Loops. I've been looking for a rib beanie to knit for this season, and I think the Dual Loop Beanie is the perfect rib beanie for the winter time. The beanie is knitted with a DK weight yarn plus a lace weight yarn, and the gauge is 24 stitches on 3.5mm needles, US 4. The brim is in rib stitch, and the main part of the beanie is in double rib, and the pointy part is shaped with the creases. This alpaca boucle hairband is perfect for this cozy season. You can wear it at home, like when you're having your skincare, or you can put it on and get cozy when you're out in the cold. Trolle Twist by Nina Ruth is knitted with Drops alpaca boucle on 4mm needles, US 6, and the stitch gauge is 18. So that's my winter knitting list. I know it's ambitious, but I think it's good to dream big, right? Even if I don't finish everything, which I won't, I'll just enjoy the process, and sharing these plans with you is part of the fun. Let me know in the comments which projects you're most excited about or any plans to share for this winter. Thank you for watching. Happy knitting, and I'll see you next time.